We are live 364 days a year.
What are we doing here?
If Dom turns at SummerSlam, I'm shaving my moustache off. I've told you, if that happens, it's going. My lip is cold because of a stupid bet that I made with YouTube.
Oh, good.
Wrestle's better than Daniel Bryan Daniels, better than Okada.
How do you not get fishy after Monday Night Raw?
What is up, wrestling fans? Good evening from Swansea. I am your host, Ben Allison, and you are watching Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast on a day where we might be about to see the return of a legend, a future Hall of Famer, and that could well be AJ Lee. Also, it's going to be John Cena's last ever SmackDown appearance. There's a lot of news we are going to get into. But before we do, let me introduce the panel. And let me firstly introduce the guy whose birthday was yesterday. Happy belated birthday to Clark. How are you, Clark?
I feel one day older than yesterday. I'm hyped for the Chiefs game tonight. I'm hyped to break down some sweet topics. I'm hyped to be here in general. Might bug some people in my Travis Kelce jersey, but I bought it long before he was on your radar. Let me put it that way.
But before we do that, we've got to read out some comments. We got numero one. Happy Friday to you. We got Fernando Zayas. Happy Friday to you. And we got Laurie Taylor in the comments too. Happy Friday to you as well. But we also have joining us today Ant University. How are you, Ant?
What is going on, everyone, man? It is Friday. It is the last day we have to go without football. It's beautiful. And for everyone out there who's jealous because the DMV, me and Shad, get to go watch John Cena in his last match, Saturday night main event in Washington, D.C., be jealous. I don't care.
Wow, fighting words out the gates. I have to say, I feel bad for Dez. Dude's been saving up for months to go to this show, only to find out this show is not happening.
Sorry, Boston.
I don't like Boston anyway.
Sorry, Boston. As soon as
give you my
Brady
Mr.
left,
Burns
they all
laugh.
ran into trouble.
I don't know what on earth happened.
Squashed with North Carolina. Boston's having a rough year. They trade Devers.
I don't know what's going on, but I do know what's going on with John Cena's retirement tour because the last 8 dates have now been announced. We are kicking things off tonight in Chicago, then Raw in Springfield on September 15th, then WrestlePalooza, Crown Jewel, another Raw in Boston, another Raw in MSG, then Survivor Series, and then his retirement match at the Saturday night's main event. And I have to say, I am really disappointed because how on earth are you going to have him on no Raw or SmackDowns to build up to his retirement match? I'm going to be honest, it looks like they cram most of his appearances into the first few months of this retirement tour because at the end of it, well, I mean, basically, it's emptier than a fridge when you come back from vacation. It is just a complete and utter joke. I can't get my head around in what universe having no Raws or SmackDowns to build up to your retirement match is a good idea. I also can't understand a world in which you don't hype up your last SmackDown appearance as your last SmackDown appearance until the day of the show. Surely you should be hyping that up a week at least in advance to make sure people tune in. They didn't do this. Basically, this entire retirement tour seems like they're just making it up as they go along. Heel turn, face turn, I don't know. What do we feel like on the day? Raw, SmackDown, I don't know. What do we feel on the day? Is he retiring? Is he not retiring? I don't know. But I do know Clark has some thoughts on that. What's your thoughts, Clark?
Well, yeah, I've had previous thoughts on that, and a lot of what you just mentioned is why I'm relatively confident this isn't actually the end. It's going to be close, maybe. He's going to work these dates, and it's going to feel like it's his retirement match when it happens. For a second, we'll all feel that way, and everyone will go, look, Clark was wrong. And then I won't be. And there's no doubt in my mind about it. This isn't the end. because it's also just been completely, like you said, wishy-washy, flying by the seat of your pants, whatever you're feeling that day. There's no reason he doesn't make promo appearances on SmackDowns or Raws. I don't care what it is along the way during this final 8-date run. He doesn't have to wrestle every time. Cut a promo, send in a video. I don't know, right? Like, do a vignette. It's something. At least give the fans something in these arenas, because a lot of people also, and they're still going to sell the Cena retirement tour merch at these events. A lot of people, like you mentioned, Dez earlier, saved up to get tickets, or not even before the show. That was during this show, but saved up to get tickets to go to an event to see Cena on his retirement tour. And yeah, you can go and get the merch, but he's not going to be there the way this is advertised. And it doesn't make any sense to me. And that's why I stand by what I said on the original Wrestling Republic podcast. And that is not going to happen.
It is. It's going to happen. He's retiring. He's done. Come on, they wouldn't do all this just to get to that point.
He'll be back.
You're focusing on the wrong thing here. The actual thing should be.
This is what I believe, though, Ben. You're focusing on the wrong thing. I believe that John Cena will look back in hindsight and go, you know what? That wasn't enough for the end. And that's why I believe this isn't the end. I'm not even putting it on the WWE. I don't think it's already pre-planned. I think the plan is that it is the end. That what I'm
Fernando's
not
saying you're half right.
What I'm not saying is that there's some sort of conspiracy theory. What I am saying is, when John Cena looks in the mirror in 6 months, 8 months after all of this and starts thinking about it and is watching the current product and maybe has a creative idea, that he's not going to be done. And I wouldn't blame him either.
I'm more concerned, to be honest with you, about the fact it's taking him 21 days to fly from Indianapolis to get to Crown Jewel, because I mentioned the retirement match where we got numero one in the comments here. There's also nothing to build up the match of Crown Jewel either.
Could be going by boat.
Maybe.
He's taking the Jericho cruise over there.
Maybe that's how Chris Jericho returns at this point.
Okay, that was pretty good, by the way, guys.
Just
out of nowhere.
I agree with KSK. This entire this entire retirement tour feels like they've only half bothered. We've got Fernando saying, preach, Ben, you're on fire. Thank you very much, Fernando. KSK says it feels like an afterthought. I can't believe what's going on. And the Atomic Merp, shout out to you, agrees. But at you, I want to get your take. What is your thoughts on all of this?
So you guys have to look back at the long-term storytelling, right? Washington, D.C., June 19th, 2011. John Cena had a match there. Capital Punishment, where we got to see the introduction of a character called Little Jimmy, right? R-Truth took a cup of water, threw it on a John Cena fan, and now R-Truth is John Cena's biggest hero. Well, there's one match during this retirement that has not ended in a pinfall or submission victory or anything like that, and that's the match with R-Truth. So why not come back full circle? Washington, D.C., December. What is it? December 13th?
Yeah.
Have John Cena, R-Truth, one last match. Little Jimmy comes out and helps R-Truth beat John Cena. Perfect way to go. Perfect way to go. If I was writing it, that's how I'd write it.
When you can't
Close it out.
Jimmy.
Close it out beautifully.
In fairness, you can't see Little Jimmy.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think R-Truth is going to be in Washington or wherever that show is going to be. I think he's going to be in Boston because we might as well be, because he's not going to be on that card.
I think it's got to be like Drew McIntyre at this stage.
Well, we're going to talk about that in the last topic. We are going to be predicting his 4 last matches. DCX Warlord saying it should be Alex Riley. KSK does not want to see R-Truth. KSK, in fact, thinks there is not going to be a match at Crown Jewel. Instead, it will just be an appearance, saving Roman and co., setting up War Games. I would not mind that, but here's the thing, KSK. When you're already advertising it, when you're already selling tickets off John Cena's name, especially in Australia, right? I think he is going to have to appear, and I do think he's going to have to compete, because if not, I mean, I always think unless somebody's competing, if you're advertising them, I mean, you're advertising them on the presumption they are going to wrestle. That's what happens if it's a wrestling show and you're advertising somebody, especially for months in advance. I think it's a ripoff. Numero 1 says, I'm sorry, but no. Unless it's Ron Killens, I don't think it should be John versus Ron. It should be John versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship, and have Sheamus retire John Cena.
Okay, so once again, I was doing a bit when I was talking, right?
Obviously.
If Cena's last match should be a US or an Intercontinental Open Challenge, right? Cena needs to win it in probably Crown Jewel, have a couple things, have an open challenge, and then there's one person that needs to retire John Cena, and it needs to be the Ruler. The Ruler needs to come out, needs to answer the open challenge.
Yes.
And there's no way to introduce Obafemi to the main roster crowd than to have Obafemi be the Ruler, come out there with the NXT Championship belt, the same way someone else did against John Cena in Washington, D.C. Kevin Owens came out with the NXT title belt in Washington, D.C.
That was in D.C.
I was at that show.
That was in the nation's capital.
So you have Obafemi come out with the NXT Championship belt for a John Cena Open Challenge, and there's no better way you introduce that man to the main roster crowd.
Remember, you got to say this twice though, because we are going to cover this in the last segment.
That is true. We're going to get onto that later.
So, like, if you feel like you rushed that one, you got a second shot at it at the end.
You got to say the entire final four. So there will be a bit. Kafka's case says, Dirty Dom, we'll get into it later on, but I'm going to be honest. I absolutely love for it to be Obafemi, but a little bit of a spoiler for later on. I don't think it's going to be. Up next, let's talk about wrestling ratings, because there's a bit of a narrative online over the past few days that there is a wrestling ratings problem. A lot of quote-unquote insiders are saying there is a ratings problem. After all, SmackDown hit a record low rating last week. Dynamite this week hit a record low rating. Collision last Saturday, record low rating. 3 record low ratings in 1 week. I mean, that is a little bit of a cause for concern, but I'm going to put your concerns at ease just a little bit here. Because firstly, it's important to remember SmackDown was pre-recorded, and in reality, thanks in part to Stephanie McMahon, a lot of viewers in the US were watching SmackDown live on Netflix using a VPN. So of course, that would decrease SmackDown's viewership on the USA network. Plus, obviously, there was, all the results were already online by that point as well. As for Dynamite and Collision, yes, it's definitely a year low, but it's important to remember it is now also on HBO Max too. So when you factor in all these things, realistically, no way is it lower than it was a couple of years ago. It's not going to be on that level because a lot of people are watching it on HBO Max. We just don't know that number. But even still, Clark, all of that taken into account, there is no denying the trends which you've been seeing over the last 2-3 months in wrestling across all shows. And that trend is it is falling faster than ever before. I want to get your thoughts on this because I'm going to be honest. Yes, this week I think people are overreacting, but that trend, it's a little bit hard to deny.
Yeah, Ben, I definitely agree with you. I do think that the 2K ratings are messed up.
Oh my gosh.
In my eyes, like Tyrese Halliburton being an 86, it's just too high. You've got some legends that are underrated. You got that Super Cena at 100. You can't unlock them all right away. We are talking about the 2K ratings, right? What do you mean? Ben, I don't care. The ratings in late August, early September, stop it. It was Labor Day weekend. People are on vacation too this week. People are going out of town. School starts, mind you. School started a few weeks ago here in the good old US of A. So there's quite a few audiences that on a school night on the West Coast aren't going to watch it at 8 o'clock. until maybe the next day or later or whatever it may be, the way that you would during summer vacation. I have no worries whatsoever about the ratings at all. Professional wrestling is at its height since the late 90s. At this very moment, still, we are in prime time right now when it comes to pro wrestling in my lifetime, and I turned 34 yesterday. That's the way I look at it. I have no issues with the ratings for 1 week, record low, whatever. Knock it off. I'm over it.
I partly agree.
I have
I
more
partly
issues with the
disagree.
2K ratings. Legitimately.
Because I'm going to quickly put on a chart right on the screen, right? And this chart is from WrestleNomics. Shout out to them. But this shows over the past year plus the
This
general
shows
trend,
the
right?
volatility. There's no general trend. It goes up and down like a freaking roller coaster, dude.
Yes, but if you look at between July and now,
It's non-linear.
between July and September, that is a concern.
Sure, but things have changed too, like slightly, and it'll. Are we not expecting Mania season to have the best too? Like, come
Well,
on.
of course we are.
We all
of course
know
we
that.
always will, every
of course,
single
there's
year.
gonna be a downturn this time of year. Like I said, school starting. That's not even just in the U.S. That's in the U.K. School starting for people. That matters.
Schools do exist here. You are right.
That matters. You guys still have education, right? Or did you guys get rid of it?
No, we do.
but
It's arguably better.
Whoa. That's a different podcast.
Wow.
Tune into that one later this afternoon. Me and Ben take it to the table over British versus American education systems. But hosted by Chaos.
He's been in both technically, hasn't he? So maybe he's actually an impartial voice. To
honestly,
have.
he's a really good moderator, I think, for this one. No,
Yeah.
Wow.
But
at
But
the
in
end
all
of the day, I think we're actually closer to the same page than, I'm just not going to get hung up over, it's a little bit of a downslide here, but it's not even a downslide that far below the lowest point. Like, yes, it's the lowest right now, but the next lowest, it's not that much lower.
it is, I will say, it is shocking, of course, how all companies, all shows in the last month and a half have, gone down at a level we didn't see this time last year, and we didn't see this time the year
Also,
before that either. Like, that
speaking
is
of-
an interesting trend.
Speaking of school, Ben, I haven't seen that many squiggly lines since I was in school. Like, what
It's
are you doing?
fascinating.
Showing me, like, let's play connect the dots. That's fascinating too. Like,
Oh my gosh. Well, K's K agrees with me on that one. Fernando has said wrestling has always been down for this part of the year. Business will pick up around Survivor
There we go,
Series. I
Fernando.
do hope you are right. I really, really do there. K's K, happy belated birthday to Clark.
thank you. I also, by the way, think it will pick up sooner even than that. It'll pick up in 2 weeks when we've got WrestlePalooza and All Out. It will
Yeah.
be just fine.
Same
We'll
day.
be just fine. We got a weekend stacked with wrestling.
I'm going to be honest, if it doesn't improve today, I'd be a little bit worried considering how much is currently
Should.
scheduled for SmackDown. But
Well, they're going to this Chiefs game.
Yeah. I mean, look at how
that's
much.
true too.
Look at how the weekend went when you had Evolution 2, Saturday Night Main Event, the AEW show, the ROH show. Like, if people talk about people getting burnt out, but I know the majority of my friends watched every single bit of wrestling that weekend.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Very, very true indeed.
So, I mean, it's always going to fluctuate. It's always when football season comes around, wrestling always takes a dip. Always, and so it is what it is right now. But yeah, come Survivor Series, come Royal Rumble, come Mania season, like it's going to be at its peak. Where like it always is. We don't have anything to worry about right there.
Let's hope so for sure. I mean, Kafka's case, his SmackDown wasn't that bad, seen worse. You are right. Last week's SmackDown was not that bad at all. But the week before that, and the week before that, and the week before that were absolutely abysmal. And I reckon, because obviously, very rarely do people actually switch off an episode if they were planning to watch it halfway through. If they were planning to watch it as wrestling fans, usually people do commit. But if you commit 1 week and you get disappointed, and maybe a few weeks in a row, then that's when maybe you're like, actually, I'll just watch the highlights on YouTube this week. And maybe that's what's happened. And maybe WWE have recognized that, and it is why they've stacked SmackDown today and are hoping to, kind of get it back on the right page, because right now it has been filler over the past few weeks. That is undeniable. But something else that is undeniable is the quality of the Wrestling Republic second channel, Wrestling Republic Undercard. Make sure to go there and subscribe so you can see clips and more. The home are sold separately, exclusive videos and more. A lot of great stuff on there. Grappling for Position 2. Make sure to go and subscribe. A lot of fun stuff coming up over there very, very soon as well. And while you are at it, make sure to go and subscribe to the Allison Analysis YouTube channel to see my 5 key findings from Raw, SmackDown, and more. No promises, but because I didn't get Wrestling Republic news out this morning, my aim today is to actually get Allison Analysis out after SmackDown. My plan is to stay up to 5 a.m. to get this done today, guys, because I do think it is going to be an action-packed show. Do you know what, guys? We're ahead on time a little bit.
Okay.
Should I tell you guys the story about why there was no Wrestling Republic news today?
Oh, I'm actually curious. Yes.
Yes.
I was going to ask after the show anyway.
I woke up, right? And I was watching like a football YouTuber. And I noticed he had a lovely background, like a green screen background with all trophies of his club and all that on that. And I thought to myself, well, I got a few hours today. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang up my old green screen behind me and create a background so it can look all nice and fancy behind me, all wrestling championships, all of that. Had it planned out in my mind, and then I'll get Wrestling Republic news up. Well, I put the green screen up. I'm the only person home, so it's a little bit hectic. It goes up, and at this point, there's tons of shadows on it. And I realize that sticking it to the wall, it's too far back. It won't work. What I've got to do is hang it up from the ceiling so it goes behind me. And
Please
I'm
tell me
like,
you didn't try to.
that's not a problem. I'll get some of these clips. So I got some of these clips. I hooked it. I was like, that's perfect. All I need is some fishing wire. I had tons of that from when I did my exhibition in university last year. So I'm like, I'll look in my drawer. Not there. I'll look in my cupboard. Not there. Or it must be in one of my boxes in storage. So I take out all my boxes in storage, go through it all, keep on doing everything, can't find it anywhere. At this point, I decide to give up. I look at the clock. It's 2:30, and I haven't eaten breakfast. I was looking for 4.5 hours.
That is outstanding. It was not a fruitful scavenger hunt.
No.
I only do
was a
scavenger
disaster
hunts
class.
that have prizes.
I
Man.
hyper-focused more than I ever should have in my
It's
life.
outstanding. The
I
fact
know
you
how that
didn't
goes.
find it is almost gnarlier.
I
Right.
still don't know where it is.
Oh,
I've looked everywhere possible. It must have
It's
been
me one of
thrown
those
out.
things in a month you're gonna kick it on accident and find it.
mm-hmm.
But I'm not giving up. I'm going to order some more fishing wire, and I'm going to try to do the green screen thing and get that working.
Maybe go
But
fishing, by the way.
maybe I'll go fishing too while I'm at it. Oh my gosh, Clark.
What?
I just realized I actually used to go fishing, and I have fishing supplies in my garage, so I would have actually had fishing wire there.
I had a bad feeling about that one when I made the joke.
The
would-
disappointment in his face right now.
It was in the tackle box. See, I knew it. I didn't even have to look for 4 hours.
The disappointment.
Well, we'll get that sorted at some point, but talking about getting things sorted, AEW got it sorted and booked some smaller arenas after a lot of fans were pushing for it for quite a few years. They started doing it last year. They did a little bit of a residency in the Hammerstein Ballroom. It went really well, so well, in fact, that they decided to do another one, this time in the 2300 arena. But in the last segment, we spoke about how ratings are currently down, and one reason some people are suggesting the Dynamite and Collision ratings have been down this week is people switched on AEW, and for the real casuals, it might have felt a little bit minor league to see them in a small venue very, very cramped, no cool graphics, no cool stage. So could that potentially be a factor in all of this? And I want to get your thoughts.
So it's a double-edged sword. The excitement for watching it on TV when you have that intimate crowd, when it seems like the crowd is on top of the wrestlers, it gives you that PGW feel. It gives you that NXT feel. It gives you that indie vibe, right? So, right. And as I said, with the double-edged sword, a lot of your casuals aren't going to want to see that. They're going to want to see the big WWE productions and stuff. But I think AEW just needs to stick to what's working for them. And I enjoy it. I enjoy NXT for the simple reason that it's a small crowd, but the crowd is so electric at what it does, right? I don't like when WWE does open air venues because it takes away, for me watching at home, it takes away that feeling of the crowd in the arena, right? Losing all the cheers and the pops and everything to the open air. It makes it just not as exciting. Like, you don't get the goosebumps also. So you talk to people who are in the stadium and they're like, oh yeah, it was so loud in there. You wouldn't even believe it, but then it doesn't resonate through TV. So yeah, the noise not escaping in the smaller venues, AEW continuing to just pump out really good show after good show. I think it'll be better for them. And as long as they continue to keep their ticket prices reasonable, they'll be able to start upping the size of the venues that they go into, and it won't be a big hit. I think you got to work for the long haul there, and you can't just jump straight in to what they were doing, because it was hurting them, people posting half the stadium being empty all the time. So I'm a fan of them moving to the smaller venue.
I am bang on in agreement with you, and I really am. And also, like, again, maybe some people do think it looks minor league. To me, it does remind me, like you said, of a PWG, even of an ECW. But it's not.
Arena.
Yeah, it's not like it's not like the production's bad. It's just scaled down. It's not like there's production issues. It sounds great. I think it looks great. But again, we are hardcore fans, so I guess it's difficult to put ourselves in the eyes of casuals.
I mean, the hard part for me is the only factor is if the production is scaled down, it likely costs jobs, which I don't love that aspect of it. But I love using a historic venue like the 2300 Arena in ECW and whatnot. But I'm all for, if you can fill the larger one, utilize that, use all the resources you can. Have a big production crew. It's important to the wrestling industry because there was only one place you could be, excuse me, on a production crew, essentially for 2 decades, and now there's more than one, and that is my only issue I have with it. I don't think it looks bad on TV. It doesn't bother me that it's scaled down. I enjoy that aesthetic. I loved ECW. I don't think it's quite PWG. That's a little different. That's even more cramped. This is at least a little bit. It is 2300 is closer to Hammerstein than it is a PWG show. I mean, the Globe Theater is pretty ridiculous, right? But at the end, Reseda,
I think they ran the Hammerstein, to be fair. They're PWG.
But the GCWs ran the Hammerstein, but PWG's West Coast only.
Sorry, ignore me.
Hammerstein's in New York. But at the same time, yeah, it's generally for AEW been in historic type venues when they go to these smaller ones, right? They ran Hammerstein as well. And I think that's smart strategically doing that. It makes a ton of sense to me. I have no issue with that whatsoever. But yeah, that my only qualm, my only slight issue, like I said before, is just if you were employing a giant production crew, it's a shame that you have to sort of make cuts there, right? We talk about roster because we see the talent. Those cuts happen likely behind the scenes, or you're working on a contractual basis, so it's more seasonal type work, and that affects that as well.
I'm gonna be honest, right? I got a little bit of an inside scoop here. When I went to when I went to Forbidden Door a couple of weeks ago, I was literally sitting like right behind. I was the row in right there in front of the production team, right? And they walked past them on Dynamite, John Moxley, I think it was last week, and it was the same team, the same size.
So that's good. That's good. That's good to hear, by the way.
I
You know
don't
what I mean?
think they have cut anybody for this.
But I mean, I'm even thinking like stage crew, right? It's not necessarily even
Maybe.
just the general production team. There is absolutely, right? If somebody has to build a stage, and it's not necessarily the same team every time, somebody's gotta put together the ring. I get that. But if it's scaled down, then it's scaled down. So somebody, right? I'm sure the main team is the main team, but
What
Yeah.
happened to wrestlers setting up the ring? What is this utter woke
It
nonsense
still
now?
does it at indie shows.
I do believe that often still happens. My point is, though,
Only at indie shows now, Dan's
well,
point.
by the way,
Yeah.
if you're in a smaller venue with a smaller locker room, even then, maybe some of the wrestlers that set up the ring aren't necessarily invited.
I think Roman Reigns needs to get his act together, right? If I can set up a ring, I've done it before, Roman Reigns should be doing it.
Hey, man, I can tie a knot. Yeah, I wasn't a Boy
Yeah.
Scout, but I can tie a knot. I tie my shoes.
Maybe give it to Austin Theory, give him something to do. But up next, let's now talk
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Just
Wow. That was
catching
such a
strays, not even
freestyle.
on TV.
By the way, that was like
Nice.
a behind the back pass too. He like looked down and said it.
Yeah,
he's like,
but
well,
no,
let's see
I'm
if
a
they
fan
even
of
hear
Austin
this.
Theory. I feel for him. I feel for the guy. But maybe he'll face John Cena in his final match, because up next, we are going to be predicting John Cena's final matches, right? He's got 4 PLEs left. We are going to go on the presumption he's going to wrestle at all 4 of these. So that's WrestlePalooza, Crown Jewel, Survivor Series, and then his retirement match at Saturday night's main event. I'll kick us off, right? I think this first one's pretty simple. Brock Lesnar, WrestlePalooza. It is quite obvious. But up next, I am going to go Crown Jewel. I reckon at this point, we know he's not going to work any dates between WrestlePalooza and Crown Jewel. I am going to predict that what's going to happen is AJ Styles dethrones Dominic Mysterio at WrestlePalooza, then calls out John Cena for a match for the Intercontinental Championship at Crown Jewel, saying that he knows Brock beat him at WrestlePalooza, but he still wants to face him. He wants to give him a shot after Cena gave him a shot in 2016. He wants to give him an opportunity to win the championship he's never won before, and Cena will win it. That takes us on to Survivor Series, where Dominic Mysterio will get his rematch. Cena, Dirty Dom, IC title, and Dirty Dom will win back the championship. Then that takes us to his retirement match, Saturday night's main event. Because I reckon after he loses the title to Dom, Gunther is going to come out of nowhere, choke him out, and beat him up. I reckon Gunther is going to retire John Cena. But at you, what do you think?
Oh, okay. So WrestlePalooza, like you said, simple. Right there, we're going Brock Lesnar, right? Crown Jewel is where I think things get a little crazy. We're going to be overseas. The young guns who've been taking everybody out are going to want their shot. And with him moving to Raw, I think we're going to see something with the vision with John Cena, right? We got 2 Raw dates coming up. There's going to be something there. And I think Braun Breaker is what we're going to get, or Bronson Reed, maybe, since Bronson Reed is from, is from that area. We may get Bronson Reed versus John Cena at Crown Jewel. Survivor Series, I think Survivor Series, whichever one he doesn't wrestle at Crown Jewel, we're going to get at Survivor Series. Right. So it's either going to be Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed. And then I think to finish it up, with him being on Raw, with John Cena doing everything, I think he's going to leave with a title, like he said, and we're going to get Seth Rollins versus John Cena, last match ever.
You're muted, Ben, but that is absolutely
My mic did not work for a second there, but not my mic. My just keyboard didn't work. It was trying to save the page instead of unmute my mic. It was a disaster. But that prediction I do like, and you were big on having Cena not lose that championship. So what if Cena now does walk out with the world title, but it's the other world title, and he gets rid of that? I mean, that is a very interesting perspective. There's no doubt about it. But Clark, what's your take?
Well, so it's really interesting with what we talked about in the first segment, and I kind of head faked everybody. I mentioned Drew McIntyre's last match. He's second or third or fourth on my list. Not gonna lie to you. Let me get started. I've got Brock Lesnar slotted, of course, at Palooza, just like everybody else. That's obvious. It's a no-brainer. Nothing but net. Come on. Let's move along. Let's keep it rolling, though, to Crown Jewel. I think I've got an idea, my friends, because some people have been a little bit confused about Sami Zayn winning that United States Championship and who is the most famous modern United States champion of all time. Oh, well, it's John Cena. Crown Jewel, John Cena versus Sami Zayn one more time, challenging for the U.S. title, and he does not win that match.
Oh.
Here's my belief. John Cena at Survivor Series then moves along and goes for the Grand Slam, the Grand Salami, as they call it over here in baseball, and takes on Dominic Mysterio in the 619 itself in San Diego, California at Petco Park. And he gets the win. He wins the Intercontinental title at Survivor Series. Now we keep it rolling to main event in that final match. Triple threat. John Cena versus Dom Mysterio in his rematch clause match, and a guy he's very familiar with. Face that runs the place, a little history. That's when we get AJ Styles. All three. That way we can put on a longer match. In Cena's last match, his body's likely broken down after a run like this at his age over this year. Maybe that's why some of the dates were taken away. Maybe it's not. I'm not 100% sure. But what I've got is John Cena, AJ Styles, Dominic Mysterio, Intercontinental title, Cena's final match. Likely AJ pins Dom. And then there's a very cool send-off moment.
I liked what you said until that last sentence. If in John Cena's last match or any legend's last match, they lose but don't get pinned,
sure,
that would be the most.
You know what? I'm
infuriating
sorry. By the
thing
way,
ever.
I don't know why I said
Right.
pin Dom. I should have said pin John Cena. Honestly,
Okay. Oh my-
it came out of my mouth and I was like, too late. You said it, but I
Uh-huh.
actually was thinking the opposite. Right? To be in my defense, believe it or not,
All right, okay.
I
I'll
was
let you
thinking
off.
phenomenal forearm on Cena. He goes out on his back, the classic, like that one. Yeah, no, it's kind of funny. Like I got halfway in and I was like, pins Dom. I didn't mean that. Like, but too late. Like, I was like, it's already happening.
But like John
Right.
Cena said, he broke out some of the people he wanted to wrestle that he's not going to be able to wrestle as finishers during his match with Jake Paul, and he hit the Styles Clash.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah,
My
that's where I
prediction's
think
wrong,
it's
and so is
interesting.
Clark's.
Well,
I do
even
have to
then-
say, I do have to say at you, right? I actually think your list is very possible, other than one match, and that is Survivor Series. Where if I think it could happen, Bronson Reed at Crown Jewel, that makes a lot of sense. But then instead of Braun Breaker at Survivor Series, I reckon War Games have Cena on that team, and then do Rollins at Saturday Night's main event, or even Breaker at Saturday Night's main event.
I don't know, man. Like, so what's the team going to be? Like, is John going to team up with Jay, Roman?
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know.
Well, they're
man.
going to be facing, undoubtedly, based on what they're building, they're facing the Vision at Survivor Series.
I can't lie to
Yeah.
both of you guys. I was just disappointed we didn't get the second Obafemi pitch.
I know.
Wanted the
Well,
second Obafemi pitch.
I thought Obafemi
Oh,
was
Obafemi
going
was
to
just
for the
forbidden.
first half of that.
Obafemi was just forbidden. I already had it locked in that it was going to be the Vision the last three matches. Right? The Obafemi was just forbidden. Ben's
Oh.
eyebrow all the way up here.
You got excited.
A big Obafemi guy. Obafemi squashes John Cena last match. Let's do it. You know what, though? No, I want to go back to yours again, though, aren't you? Because I think if it is Lesnar, Bronson Reed, War Games, and then Bron Breakker, I actually think that's what they should do now. I'm actually sold on that.
I want to see him walk out. I want to see him walk out with the title, right?
Not gonna
Because
do that.
well, everyone calls that title the second-rate title, and they're looking to get something in. So you take that title away, and then you bring in the TKO World Heavyweight Championship.
No.
You know that's what they want to do.
No,
You
they
know
don't want to do
TKO
that. They
wants-
don't want to do that because they have every intention long term. They've even admitted this of selling the companies under TKO to other people if the time is right and the price is right. So it makes no sense for them to have a title named after the parent company, even though that's not going to happen for years. It
They're
still
gonna-
makes no sense.
The new title is going to be named something because John Cena, the greatest of all time, 18 in your face. You can't see me no more. No one else can catch me. You know what I mean? Randy, you're not getting 3. Triple H isn't coming back getting any. Let's just go ahead and clear this. Oh, man.
Charlotte can still catch him.
That's true.
Charlotte can still catch him.
That is very true. Very easily, too. The Atomic Moop does not want Cena to get... Well, it says let Cena get pinned as much as it'll kill me. Yeah, you've got to have him put someone over in his last match. But Clark is cooking, says Atomic Moop. And Numero 1 Superfly says that his prediction is Brock at WrestlePalooza. Brock in a kendo stick on a pole match at Crown Jewel, and then Dom for the IC title at Survivor Series, and then
All
Sheamus
step-
for the IC
yes.
title at
Go
Saturday Night's Main
numero
Event.
1.
What if
I
we
like the
get it
last
back?
two.
What if we get it back? What if CM Punk finds a way to beat Seth Rollins before the Saturday Night Main Event? John Cena beats him and walks out with the title. Let it happen. Let it happen.
John Cena's not going to be there enough. He's ditching class.
There's
until then.
there's no dates to tell any of these stories,
Cena
to be
is
honest.
dissing. Cena literally decided he's ditching class until finals.
Yeah. And, well, that's why I
It's
said with him,
outrageous.
Yeah,
with this being his
he's
last
like, I'm
SmackDown.
not gonna go to class. Like, someone just give me the notes.
Like I said, with this being his last SmackDown, with him doing 2 more Monday Night Raws, the one in Pitt or the one in New York and the one in Boston. It's got to be there's someone on Raw he's feuding with, and I don't think it's the Judgment Day. I think it's going to be the Vision, because the Vision is just out there to put. Dude, they just beat everybody up. They're just putting people out.
You're right. It makes sense. It's completely logical. It is. But I will say, and it is sticking with me, the fact that they didn't announce it was his last SmackDown until earlier today means that I don't think they knew it was his last SmackDown until earlier today, which means I don't think they have an absolute clue what they're doing here. I think... What?
What if he's hurt?
What if he's hurt?
Sorry, I had to whisper that. I didn't want to scare anybody, but what if he's hurt?
Well, they've announced all the other dates. They're just all matches instead of shows. That makes less sense. He's hurt. Is his vocal cords hurt? Can he not cut promos anymore?
Maybe ticket prices were down.
No, I don't know.
Maybe
he's
they
gotta get like
maybe ticket
like a knee
prices are
scope.
down. Maybe AJ Lee isn't the draw people think she is.
Maybe it's
She
the
is.
ratings.
She is.
Maybe it's
Oh,
the
she
ratings.
is.
Look at my eyes. Roll them. Come on, man.
AJ
Probably the
Lee
ratings.
tonight. I've got my fingers crossed. If it happens, guys, you guys are going to see a very excited Ben Allison. We will see you guys same time, same place tomorrow. Have a good one, guys. Bye, 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 bye. Peace.
Go